everyone, this is Subeda from Zephyr Lake Carmelite Mission. I'm back home in Canandaigua in New York, and today I'd like to speak about science and technology and the appropriate use of them at the various levels in terms of as an individual, in our communities of faith and other areas, and in society and humanity. And just want to make sure that in this topic I'm speaking of the benefits, that they bring, and that science and technology are resources in and of themselves. They don't harm anyone, including, I know there's a lot of inhibition about artificial intelligence, about medical procedures and whatnot, but we should always keep this in our mind, that science and technology are resources that are for our benefit, and the church has always been, especially in the past centuries, in the forefront of the development of new technologies, new science, for the benefit of people, for raising the quality of life of humanity. And of course, there are different kinds of, science and technologies, because, you have computers, you have artificial intelligence, but you also have like medicines, medical procedures, techniques, communication methods. All these are in this broad umbrella. And we know that a resource can be used for the benefit of others and our own benefit, or it can be used to harm. So we have to keep that in mind. And often in the faith circles, we must not be discriminatory against those who use those technologies or those who avoid them for whatever personal reasons and convictions that they may have. But we don't discriminate or we don't judge the moral goodness or the lack of moral goodness in a person based on their, their predecision and their personal choice and their taste for technology or for not using technology. And even the word tradition, when we say tradition, we are not talking about paper, pen, and using books. That's just one aspect of the communication, but that is not what the church calls as being a church that respects tradition. Tradition within the context of the church always means the faith traditions that Jesus, gave to us, all of humanity, and that has passed through the centuries through words, oral tradition, as well as written tradition, the scripture, and morals, faith and morals. Those are the traditions that have passed to us through the apostles and their successors. So when we use the word tradition, we are not talking about, being some old-fashioned, using some old-fashioned means of communications. Having said that, we do still, in a lot of our liturgical celebrations, we use, printed missals, printed scripture. Print is one of the communication methods that we use, and that is totally fine. And some people I know like to use their phone, and if it is for individual prayer, that is totally fine. But when they come, say for example, they're the lector in the liturgy for the whole congregation, they have to respect the norms of the church for those aspects. So we have to be balanced, and we should always realize that use or non-use of technology doesn't determine moral goodness or a lack of moral goodness. And we know that we should not be afraid of technology. What we really should be afraid of is the poor use or the harmful use of these technologies. If we use technology to harm others, we can use any resource to harm others. It can it can be something as small as a stone. It's nothing technology. Stone Age, it's been around for many centuries. You could use that to harm somebody, or you can use that to build up. It's the same thing with computers, with medicine. All of these things can be used to help somebody, or we can use it to harm somebody. And the comfort level of the people, it can be influenced by when they were born, when they were raised. They may have grown up in an environment where technology was not there, and somehow because of their profession, because of their circumstances, they never really had a lot of influence, in the culture, in the background that they grew up, or a need for technology in their life. So they might be less comfortable. But there might be others, either because of their education, their profession, or even just because of their age factor, they might be more comfortable using certain kinds of technology. But as we know, we can pray, and for prayer, we don't need the highest form of prayers do not need words. Like contemplation, we're just gazing at God and remaining in God's embrace, and it doesn't require any words. So we know that some people use their phones for certain prayers. Other people, like to use their books, and that is fine as long as there is truth. There is a desire to communicate to God, to respond to God, to receive God's graces. It really does not matter as long as we are respecting others, we're respecting the norms of the faith community. And so it's very important to keep that in mind, and not to allow either the use or the non-use of technology to influence our mind about other people. And one of the benefits I find of modern technology and social media is that you can actually share your faith through these modern communication means. You can share your belief instead of allowing other people to, sometimes adversaries, to project false images about what you believe, or what your personal life is about, what your experiences are. And by you directly sharing, especially when you are leaders in levels that can cause a great influence to a great number of people, when the leader speaks their mind directly to the population, sharing their experiences, sharing their beliefs, and what they stand for and what they do not stand for, it debunks the false images that the adversaries try to project and, to demoralize the population. So I think technology is a great friend for evangelization, for promoting our faith, to promote truth, and what else? Of course, you can use science and technology to harm others. So we know that in the 1900s, especially in the concentration camps in Europe during the Nazi Holocaust, we know that people were utilized as for human experimentation, and their freedom was violated. They were used as more as a experiment and a tool, rather than giving them dignity, honoring their own personal decision, their freedoms. And they were used in very harmful, wrong ways. And we know that is very, very dangerous. That is like enslaving people for some benefit that the person who's researching thinks is going to come to humanity. But by targeting these gifted people for scientific research without any consideration for their freedom, for their choice, and we saw this happening, and sometimes it even happens even these days, but we don't know about it probably. But sometimes we hear people talking about their personal experiences, how they were targeted, oftentimes people with special gifts for research purposes without, through manipulation and coercion without their explicit permissions. So we should be aware that there could be harmful uses of technology and science, and we should not be the ones doing that, and we should be aware of it. Another very common form of abuse of technology is faced by many younger people as well as older people, that is through social media, this cyberbullying that happens. That's a great problem that people are facing. Even small, seemingly small things like modifying media or modifying videos, modifying photos to make somebody look unflattering. Those are criminal activities and they should not be done. It should not be done for fun. It should not be done for creative messaging. It's unethical. So these are some of the wrong use of technology that we should be aware of. And of course, with technology brings certain conveniences and some benefits, but there's a compromise between privacy. So like data privacy, how much of information, of my personal information, am I willing to put up in my online? We have to have that discretion. And, and then, we can't be so afraid that we don't live our life, like we don't use credit cards or we don't use, the online banking system because we are very afraid of data breaches and things like that. So we have to be balanced, and it has to be our personal choice. What we really don't want to do is be those individuals who are the ones causing the harm to others, using technology in a negative way. We should be the ones using it in the positive way, for God's glory, for evangelization, for promoting truth, rather than promoting, false information and false news. So anyway, I'd like to end this episode with the Catechism of the Catholic Church, quote, paragraph 2293, "Science and technology are ordered to man, from whom they take their origin and development. Hence, they find in the person and in his moral values both evidence of their purpose and awareness of their limits." Thank you for watching and have a blessed weekend.